On this episode of GWeek, we hear what GW students have to say about the Pope's historic visit to Washington, D.C., get an inside look at the GW women's soccer team this season, and have an exclusive interview with the youngest elected official in the district. All this and more on GWeek. Welcome to another episode of GWeek. I'm your host, Mary Grace Brown. As we embark on another school year, GW has committed to improving its safety protocol on and off campus to keep students secure. One proof of these efforts is the new measure to place emergency contact information on the back of GWorld cards. Further, GW established the Community Response Program. GWeek reporter Devon Morales has the scoop.
Emergency contact information has been finally placed on the back of our GWorld cards following an initiative passed by our student association last year.
The initiative called for the need for students to have instant access to 24/7 emergency contacts.
Everyone always has their GWorld more than they have anything else on them, so it's important to always have the resources.
Students have them with them at all times, so if something happens, it would be good to have that on there.
The first batch of these updated cards were given to freshman students during Colonial inauguration this past summer. Returning students and faculty members will be given the updated GWorld when they replace stolen or missing cards. However, an unnoticeable change that is happening this fall occurred this past Labor Day. A 10-week trial period began on our new community response program in the Foggy Bottom and West End communities. The program that is being run by the Division of Student Affairs, the GW Office of Government and Community Relations, and the GW Office of Security and Safety is designed to encourage members of the community to report on GW students who are misbehaving off campus through the Community Response Hotline.
I feel like it'd be a good way to kind of keep GW's image clean, and I think it's important that GW students understand that we're part of the DC community, so I like it.
It just sounds like more GW overreach that I'm used to.
Although student reaction is mixed towards the program, the university is planning another trial period for commencement weekend next semester, and that will determine whether or not this program will have a permanent place year-round here at GW. Reporting for GWeek, I'm Devon Morales.
Welcome back. Looking for something to do this weekend? The Landmark Music Festival will be held at West Potomac Park on September 26th and 27th. Over the course of the weekend, 40 artists will perform on 5 different stages with a vital purpose of raising funds to restore our National Mall. Headlining the festival are popular musical artists Drake and The Strokes. It was a monumental week in the district. Pope Francis, the spiritual leader of 1.2 billion Catholics, touched down in our nation's capital, embarking on his historic first visit to the United States. On Wednesday, the pontiff met with President Obama at the White House and participated in a vibrant parade around the National Mall, greeting thousands of spectators from his Pope mobile. All this happened within steps of the GW campus. GWeek reporter Coralie Barreau talked to GW students about their thoughts on the Pope's visit.
Hi, this is Coralie Barreau reporting live from GWeek. Today we're in Kogan Plaza asking students if they know about the Pope's visit today, September 22nd, 2015. Do you know about the Pope's visit today in Washington, D.C.?
I do. It's very exciting.
I do.
I do know about it.
The Pope is arriving.
What do you think he's going to be speaking about while he's here and while he's touring the United States?
I think he's going to be talking to Obama about Cuba relations. I know he's a big, helping hands in restoring those.
I know he's speaking with Obama, and then he's going to Congress, and then he's doing a couple prayers.
Absolutely not.
Isn't he going to be speaking about the climate?
Do you know why this is such a big deal?
He is the main Catholic figure in the world.
He's a huge security risk. I don't know.
I feel like he represents a lot of progression in terms of what he's doing, so it's exciting for someone like him to be coming here for the first time.
I think it's significant that he's here, but I can't say I take a particular interest in it now.
I also think it's really important because he is a pope who's come out with some different statements that a lot of people who aren't necessarily Catholic still agree with. For example, his statement on the environment.
Think you're going to be able to see the Pope?
I'm not, but my mom has a ticket to go.
We're actually going to go on Wednesday to the parade that's happening.
I have a game today. I'm going to use that as an excuse. But if I didn't have a game, I probably wouldn't go.
So it looks like I got the chance to actually meet the Pope. So signing off from GWTV, this is Coralie Barreau and the Pope.
Thanks, Coralie. The Pope will continue the rest of his U.S. tour, traveling to New York and Philadelphia later this week. We'll be right back with more headlines after the break.
The George Washington University, at the intersection of policy, practice, and research. Connecting all that Washington has to offer with an intellectual environment that drives progress. Transforming vision into action, offering learning experiences that are rigorous, real-time, and real-world. In a city shaping the future, George Washington is a place where faculty and students don't just study the world, they work to change it.
Welcome back. Comedian Jon Stewart will headline Colonials Weekend on October 17th at the Charles E. Smith Center. Tickets for both his 7 p.m. and 10 p.m. shows sold out quickly, even after technical difficulties caused GW to suspend initial ticket sales for several weeks. Students who did not get tickets can participate in several other campus-wide events planned for the weekend. A new development this year, 2 dorms on the Foggy Bottom campus were recently renovated. Here's Krista with more.
This past summer, GW's Residence Hall Association worked hard to renovate 2 dorms on campus. Mitchell Hall, an 86-year-old dorm that consists of 350 single rooms and is mostly home to freshman students, addressed popular complaints regarding the dorm's excessive mold on the ceilings, broken wall panels, and chipped paint and floors. The renovations also included an essential reinstallation of in-room vanities, piping, and new bedroom furniture. The updates for Strong Hall, a 79-year-old building that houses the Sisters of Sororities Chi Omega and Pi Beta Phi, included an updated sprinkler system, a new elevator, and a fresh coat of paint. The outside of the building was also decorated with plaques engraved with their Greek letters, often featured on the outside of sorority and fraternity houses on Townhouse Row.
Thanks, Krista. Over on the Mount Vernon campus, the women's soccer team is off to a great season. I had the opportunity to talk with some of the players after last week's game.
The GW women's soccer team had a hot streak last week, achieving 2 back-to-back victories at home. The team netted a combined total of 5 goals in the 2 games, both of which were shutouts.
Thursday's match against Liberty resulted in a decisive 3-0 victory, with an own goal by Liberty, as well as goals by senior Brooke Stoller and senior Christy Abate. On Sunday, the team beat Delaware State 2-0. Junior Mackenzie Calla scored both of the Colonials' goals. See here how she perfectly executes a give-and-go play with sophomore Ingrid De Clemente and scores. After the game, Calla expressed her excitement and confidence in her team.
I mean, it's really exciting. I'm lucky that I'm a forward. I mean, that's my job, and I've been doing it pretty well this year. But I couldn't do it without everyone else. If I don't have the ball, I can't score.
The girls have worked hard at practice to prepare for Atlantic 10 conference play, which starts on October 1st against St. Joseph's. With these 2 wins, the team's record is 4-4. Stoller explains why wins at home are so important.
It's really exciting because we get a little bit more fans and, we know our field so well. Also, just playing out of conference, it's good to get some wins before we go into conference and, start playing a little bit tougher opponents.
After making it to the A10 semifinals last season, the girls aim to reach the A10 tournament again this year.
Last year we made it to semifinals. This year we're looking to make it all the way and then hopefully to the NCAA tournament.
We're going to have some tough teams to play, but we're really confident and we want to win the whole thing, so we're excited.
Reporting for GWeek, I'm Mary Grace Brown.
We wish the best of luck to the women's soccer team for the rest of their season. On Saturday, September 26th, museums across the nation are participating in the Smithsonian Magazine's Museum Day Live. During this annual event, some of America's finest museums offer free admission to the public. To print your free ticket, visit www.smithsonianmag.com. Participating museums in Washington, D.C. include the National Building Museum, the Koshland Science Museum, and the Newseum. Now, we would like to take a moment to remember a GW student that has recently passed away. It was a sad day for Colonials when junior Nicholas Upton's body was found in Cape Town, South Africa. While swimming in the ocean during his study abroad trip, he was caught by a riptide and pulled under. Nick's family set up a GoFundMe page entitled Bring Nick Home, where they raised over $83,000 to set up a search and rescue team to find his body. Nicholas was a member of the Kappa Alpha fraternity and the rowing team at GW. He was set to graduate with a degree from the Elliott School of International Affairs. Our thoughts and prayers go out to Nick's family and friends.
Nearly 16 million people visit Washington, D.C. every year. Some come to witness, some to be heard. We come to make an impact, to learn from leaders, and to lead others. To create and create change. We are the George Washington University. We come to make history.
I believe. I believe that. I believe that we. I believe that we will win.
Welcome back. At the beginning of the month, students attended GW's annual Fall Fest. Here's Abby with the details.
On Labor Day weekend, GW's annual Fall Fest held in U Yard featured musical acts Mo and Holy Child. Holy Child is composed of 2 GW alumni. Vendors like Monster, Domino's, and Coke gave away free food and stuff to attendees.
It seems great, free food, who can complain?
Mo, the headliner, finished off the show.
Plenty of activities, free stuff, lots of good music. It's a good time all in all.
I love it. I love the energy.
Here with us now is the newest addition to the Foggy Bottom Neighborhood Advisory Commission and the youngest elected DC official, Eve Jerbinski. Welcome.
Thanks for having me, Mary Grace.
Of course. So let's start by clarifying this for our student viewers. What is the Neighborhood Advisory Commission?
Sure, so the Advisory Neighborhood Commission, which we call ANC for short, is a group of 8 elected officials, each representing a single member district. So each neighborhood in DC has an ANC, and the ANCs work on issues that impact the neighborhood. So I represent a district that consists of 2,000 GW students. So my neighborhood consists of 7 dorms and 8 fraternity and sorority houses. So I'm one of the few commissioners in DC that actually represents all students. And recently I was elected as treasurer of the ANC, which means that I'll be filing quarterly finance reports and helping manage the budget and things like that.
Okay, so exciting. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
And so can you please tell me, how does it feel to be essentially the youngest elected official in DC?
I mean, I'm really humbled. I didn't really expect this to happen, but I think it's really great because I get to represent a lot of students and advocate for causes that students care about.
Definitely, and that's what we need here at GW, student leaders like you. So that's really great. So can you please tell me, I understand that you needed a petition in order to be able to run for office. Can you tell me more about the petition and where specifically you garnered your support?
Yeah, sure. So because my district only consists of 2,000 students and because a lot of students aren't registered to vote in DC, it was kind of hard finding the signatures because there's a specific list of registered voters and there's not that many people on this list. So in order to run, I had to get 25 signatures on this petition, which doesn't seem like a lot, but I have to get it from these specific people on the list. Right. And I also had to get them during move-in weekend, so no one was really home and they're all running around, so I had to track down each person individually to get them to sign it. So it was hard, but I made the deadline in time.
Cool. Well, it's great that you got it accomplished. So now this is a big question for you. Can you tell me about what your specific goals are as a member of this commission?
Yeah, so I have 4 specific goals. So basically one of the biggest issues impacting our neighborhood right now is kind of community noise and policing and all of that.
Right.
So what happens is GW is actually asking the consortium, which is the group that lobbies on behalf of all the universities in DC, they're asking the consortium to push this bill in front of the DC Council, which would allow UPD to have full off-campus policing powers and go into the neighborhood and arrest people. And actually, UPD used to have this power until MPD told them to stop.
So it's kind of just extending beyond the GW campus.
Yeah, and so what actually happened when UPD had these powers, they would go into the neighborhood and they would mistakenly arrest people who were just young, and they would profile them as noisemakers because of their age. So a lot of neighbors don't want this to happen because they don't want people to get arrested for no reason, and a lot of students don't want this to happen because they don't want to be profiled. So one of the things I'm doing is really pushing for this to not happen, and because we need to kind of have more trust in GW and the community. Another big thing I'm working on is to get rape kits at the GW hospital. So currently there's only one hospital in DC, which is Washington MedStar, which is about a 20-minute drive from here. That's the only hospital in DC that has rape kits. And if you're in a traumatic situation, you don't want to go and drive 20 minutes.
Right.
You want to have them right here. And a lot of students aren't aware that GW hospital doesn't have these kits. And because GW is kind of a more centralized location than Washington MedStar, if we had the rape kits at GW hospital, it would not only benefit GW and Foggy Bottom, but it would benefit people who go to American or who go to Georgetown or the greater neighborhood. And then also I'm trying to get GW to get eMERGE to carry Narcan. So Narcan is the drug that reverses some drug overdoses like heroin and OxyContin, and all DC EMTs carry this drug, but eMERGE does it. And so GW tells us to call eMERGE instead of 911, but they don't have this drug. So if you're overdosing, you want to get this drug as soon as possible. So I think that eMERGE carry the drug because every second counts during an overdose. And the last thing is that I want to make Capitol bike share more accessible and affordable to students, because a lot of students aren't using bike share, and I think that more people could be incentivized to use it.
How will you go about that? Because I, for one, I love Capitol Bike Share. I think it's a great system we have in place in DC, and I agree more students should use it. So how will you kind of go about with that specific initiative?
Yeah, so I plan to talk to Bike Share and kind of all like the stakeholders on the issue, so GW and the sustainability department, to kind of maybe put it on GWorld or get student discounts, because other cities like Denver, they actually offer people a student discount to use their bike sharing system, but DC does it, and I think a lot of people are disincentivized from paying that large fee up front, and if we made it smaller, more people would want to use it.
Definitely. I think that one is really great, just because we do have such a walkable, bikeable campus, and that would be great just in terms of physical exercise. So I think that was also, I think this is a wonderful platform. I think it's really cool how you spread it out across a lot of different topics, the eMERGE, the bike share. So it may be hard to pick just one, but I'm just curious, what is one of your greatest priorities that you hope to accomplish while in office out of those?
I think definitely the rape kits at the hospital, because GW has a problem with sexual assault. We have 31% of upperclassmen women have experienced a forced sexual encounter, and 31% of LGBT students have also experienced a forced sexual encounter. So clearly it's a problem on our campus, and a lot of students aren't aware that this resource is not at the GW hospital, and it's going to cost $700,000 a year to have these rape kits at the hospital, which seems like a lot of money, but then when you think about all the money that GW has, that's like 3 students' tuition, housing over 4 years.
Right.
And the DC government can also chip in money, so I think that we need to step up and make these kits available so that all survivors are supported and we can bring perpetrators to justice.
Definitely. So I think that's really phenomenal, and I agree that's extremely important. So just kind of to finish up, what would you say to students who are inspired by your story and who also want to achieve a high leadership position? What would your advice be?
Well, I would say find something that you're passionate about and be open to new experiences, and then really pursue that. So whether that be in a student org or Greek life or anything you're currently involved in, I think you just have to kind of focus on achieving that goal and helping others in the greater community and kind of pursuing at it. And we also actually have an open seat right now on our Foggy Bottom Advisory Neighborhood Commission, which is actually consists of mostly GW dorms, so that's also something that's out there if someone wants to go run for it.
Great, that's great to know. Well, thank you so much. A new addition on campus features 2 3D printers and 1 digitizer located on the 2nd floor of Gelman Library. The printers use ABS filament to create objects in a variety of colors. All students have access to the printers, but they must fill out a request form located at library.gwu.edu prior to their printing job. Students can make 3D innovations for 5 cents a gram. Well, that brings us to the end of our show. Until next time, make sure to check out GW TV on our website at www.gw-tv.com. Thanks for tuning in, GW. We'll be seeing you around campus.